If you've seen my video on reverse stereotypes, then you would know that there's a lot, I mean a lot of black superheroes with lightning powers. Even Volt from the comic Irredeemable issue 9 says, "Surprise, I'm a black superhero with electric powers." I know. Now it's not a bad elemental ability at all. After all, lightning is a lot faster than fire, air, water, and for sure earth. Now I want to make it clear that it's not only black characters who have lightning powers, and black characters can also have other elemental abilities. I think the second most common is Earth. I'm not saying all black superheroes have electric powers. Hell, most of them don't, but it's clear that way too many of them do. At first, I thought it might have something to do with African mythology. One of the more popular stories is the Mwindo epic. Overly Sarcastic Productions did a pretty good video about this, if you want to learn more. It's basically about this African prince with magical powers. His favorite ability to use is calling down lightning on people. After he became king, he kills this dragon-like thing with lightning. The god of lightning comes down and he's not too happy with Mwindo for killing his friend with his powers. Now keep in mind, like with all mythological stories, this is just one version of it, but it's one of the more popular stories from Africa about two guys with lightning powers. However, this is nothing special at all when we compare it to other mythologies. Both Thor and Zeus are some of the most famous white gods, and they both have lightning powers. China has a deity with lightning powers, Japan also has one as well, and plenty of pantheons all over the world have at least one god who can zap people. So I dug a little deeper, and I found out that the reason why so many black superheroes have lightning powers is because of copyright. Huh? Yep, that's the reason.
Be advised, enemies deployed a buy station. Enemies dropping into the AO.
Hey Jar, I have electric powers.
Of course someone like you would have them.
What do you mean by that?
You're half robot like me. A lot of us have electric powers.
Oh.
By the way, Professor Dreadlock, do you think you could use a pork bun right about now?
Jar, I'm not hungry. Is this really the time to be thinking about food?
You carbon-based life forms and your organics are always thinking about food. I was talking about the website Pork Bun, the sponsor of today's video. Have you ever wanted a website domain but didn't know where to start? Maybe you have a game, or a project, or some type of service you want to advertise. Well, Pork Bun has you covered. With over 500 domain expansions covering everything from .com to XYZ, free with every domain are web and email hosting trials, links and bio trials, and so much more. You can sign up today with my promo code NOTAROBOT to get $1 off your next desired domain name with Pork Bun, and make sure to visit the URL in the description and the pinned comment today. Because why pay for something that should be free?
Wow, free? That's a great price!
It all started with Black Lightning, not to be confused with Black Bolt. Now, Black Lightning was by no means the first well-known black superhero with lightning powers, because Storm from the X-Men existed before him by 2 years. But Black Lightning was the one who really got the ball rolling. During the 70s, black people were starting to have the role as the hero in movies. Many black superheroes were inspired by the progenitors of these movies, but the very first one, Black Panther, created by Stan Lee, came out in 1969. 1966. Fun fact, his first appearance was in Fantastic Four, and I thought it would have been cool if the MCU introduced the Fantastic Four in a Black Panther movie. But, then the actor died, and Disney did everything in their power to kill off the MCU so they could raise their ESG score. Anyways, Marvel came out with a few more black superheroes, one of the more popular being Luke Cage. I like him because he has the same name as me. But DC, on the other hand, really didn't have that many black superheroes at all. They had Green Lantern John Stewart, who first appeared in 1971, but he was just a side character, and was just a new version of an already existing character. Like, speaking as a white guy, I wouldn't be too happy if I got the White Panther or something like that. Now, you might have heard that DC's first original black superhero was the Brown Bomber. He's a racist white guy who turns into a black superhero when he's under stress. But this comic didn't come out until the late 2000s. That being said, the concept for this hero was going to be DC's first original black superhero. Luckily, Tony Isabella, the guy who co-created Black Goliath, was brought on to fix the Black Bomber story before it was released to the public. He told DC that the story couldn't be saved. He understood that it was about walking a mile in someone else's shoes, but most black people wouldn't want to be represented by a racist white guy. On the one hand, he did make a good call, but on the other hand, could you imagine if this was DC's actual first black superhero? He worked on the new superhero for DC, and in 1977, Black Lightning was released. You see, Tony grew up in a segregated area, and he had a few black friends who were really into comics. They told him they wished there were at least a few black superheroes, and he told them if he ever got into the comic book industry, he would for sure make a few black superheroes for them to look up to. That same year, Hanna-Barbera was coming out with a reboot of Super Friends. They wanted to use Black Lightning, but if they did, they would have to pay royalties to Tony Isabella. As you know, Hanna-Barbera is super cheap, so they came up with Black Vulcan. You might know this guy from the DCAU episode, where he was part of a superhero team created by Cadmus. This team was clearly based off of the Super Friends, but they were called the Ultimen. I'm joking, of course. He's yet another original black superhero named Juice. He was created because it wasn't clear if DC or Hanna-Barbera owned the character. But then, the 90s happened, and black superheroes started being pumped out left and right. You might have heard of Static Shock, who was created by Milestone Comics, which was owned by DC, and Static Shock later became one of the 6 DCAU shows. 2 were about Batman, 1 was about Superman, 2 were about the Justice League, and 1 was about Static Shock.
One of these things is not like the others.
Black Lightning was originally going to appear in season 3, but DC didn't want to pay royalties to Tony Isabella, so they made yet another original black superhero with lightning powers, by the name of Soul Power. There was the Daughters of Black Lightning, known as Thunder and Lightning. In my second favorite comic book, What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way, the Team the Elite has a black superhero with electric powers. In Young Justice, Aqualad is a half Atlantean with electric powers. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and in Homecoming, Electro was the only villain race bent into being black. Out of all of them, they had to pick the one guy with electric powers. Miles Morales is the only version of Spider-Man that I know about who has electric powers. Also, there's a Thor version of Miles Morales as well. This is done subconsciously by writers a lot. As for the entire Cloud Village from Naruto, I looked into it and I think it's just a coincidence. The human brain tends to make connections between things even when the evidence is very flimsy. So the reason why so many black superheroes have lightning powers is because of one guy making a black superhero, and because companies didn't want to pay him for royalties, they ripped off his character. This led into more and more black superheroes with electric powers, until it became a meme. This isn't a good or bad thing, it's just, well, a thing. Anyways, on my power scaling channel, I just did a video about Amazo from DCAU. I hope you guys check it out. Hey, if you're not subscribed to me and you're only here for this video, you might as well click off now. But if you are subscribed to me, please stick around for this important update. So I know I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks, but there's a reason for that. One of the reasons is because I've been desperately trying to get my video on reaction channels monetized. I have been constantly re-uploading it after making changes to it about 3 or 4 times already, but it keeps getting demonetized for violence and strong language, which are both things the video doesn't have at all. I'll keep trying to figure out what the problem is, and I'll do my best to get it up in a week. But there is another reason as to why I didn't upload last week. As many of you are aware, I recently got hacked. Luckily I did get my channel back. However, the nightmare did not end there. You see, the hackers were sending invalid traffic to my channel, and that goes against YouTube's terms of service, so I was only making 1/10 of what I should be making. Oh, and if that wasn't bad enough, I was also making 90% less than what I should make on my old channel as well. My power scaling channel, however, was unaffected because it's still not monetized. It's only a little over 2/3 of the way there. Despite my video about being hacked being monetized, it only made me $2.35. This lasted for roughly 2 weeks, but now I'm making what I used to make. Manga Common gave me $50 and Zaid gave me $25, and they both really helped me out a lot. Now I did also get a boost of money from the hackers, but YouTube decided to take that money, and they also took money from other videos like my Steven Universe video. In what world does a 2-hour and 20-minute long video that has received 16.6K views only make $21.60? I swear that video made more money the day it was uploaded. Unfortunately, I didn't think something like this would happen, so I don't have proof for it. Now, there is a chance that YouTube will give the money back. Something similar happened to my Velma video. Despite the views and the watch time going up, the money went down. And then one day I got a massive amount of money all in one day. But if YouTube decides not to give me the money back, there's nothing I can do. No lawyer is going to sue Google for a couple $100s. Now, the reason why I have been uploading on my old channel again, and the reason as to why I've been uploading power scaling videos on my Fast Fictional Fights channel is because, well, I've been having money problems as of late. But so many bad things have been happening as of late that I need to ask you guys to please donate to my Patreon. It doesn't have to be forever, but if you can help me out for the next couple of months, or even for 1 month, I would be extremely grateful. I hate to ask you guys for this, but I'm kind of running out of options, and I might even set up a GoFundMe. Anyways, let's get on with the credits.